It doesn't matter whether you're learning JavaScript or you're moving from JavaScript to C++. The things that you learn in JavaScript, the same thing you're going to learn in C++. I mean, if you want to be a mobile developer, want to be a web developer, like you want to be everything, so fine. But please start one at a time.
Hi, Prince. Thank you for joining and to just ask you some few questions. Right. So yeah, as always, how we do it, I would want you to share a little bit about yourself before you got into tech. Just a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so as you already know, I'm a front-end engineer. Oh, sorry. I was a front-end engineer before, but now I'm a full-stack web developer. Work for Pilgrim Consulting Group, and I'm mainly responsible for building serverless solutions on AWS. Yeah, and before I joined tech, I went to Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where I read statistics, Bachelor of Science in Statistics. And my passion for tech began in the second year, yeah, where I started learning programming. The language I started with was Python. Yeah, so I was learning Python, and I was heading in the direction of data science and data analysis because I was already reading statistics. Yeah, but later on, I got to discover web development. Yeah, and I got interested in that as well. So I decided to why not start with web development and then work my way up through being a software engineer. Yeah, so that's how it all started. Yeah.
Okay, but okay, well, you started with the tech stuff, so let's just continue from there. So before we get into what exactly you do and all that, how did you like in secondary school? I'm sure, I don't know for you, but for me, I got to know about tech in secondary school. I think my last year. But I want to know from you, how did you get to know about tech, and what was the interest that moved you into getting into tech?
Okay. Frankly speaking, for me, in secondary school, which is senior high school, I didn't even know anything about tech. Yeah, yeah. I had this teacher who taught me ICT in high school, but I wasn't really interested. I wasn't really interested because I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know the career path uh, that's in tech. I might say, yeah. So it's only when I got to the university that's when I actually discovered, yeah, there's something called programming, uh, like software engineering and all this stuff. Yeah. So for me, my journey began in the university.
Okay, so you go to the university without really even knowing anything about tech. So you mean that
Yes.
your career, your future career wasn't to be a software engineer initially.
No.
So what
No.
was your plan?
Yeah.
What was your plan as at the time
Okay.
you didn't know about tech?
um. So going to the university, what I had in mind was being an economist. Yeah. So I wanted to pursue the career as an economist. But that's the whole reason why I started reading statistics.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had nothing about tech in mind, actually. Yeah. I didn't even know anything about tech.
Okay, so then you go to the university, and then what, you had computer science, or how did you get to know
Yes,
about it,
yes.
and why did you now switch from being an economist to a software engineer?
Yeah. To be honest, in Ghana here, sometimes you just have to let's sit down and then reevaluate your life and then see the future opportunities for you in the field that you're trying to pursue, right? So, yeah, getting to the university, I mean, we had a lot of talks with people who have graduated and then like being to the outside world. Yes. And yeah, some of them advised us to actually learn something else in addition to what we were being taught in school, right? So aside our reading statistics, uh, I mean they told us that Charlie, life after school is pretty hard. So if you really want to make it, I mean, you need to have a second option. So that is where the idea of, I mean, pursuing a career in IT or in tech, which is like being a software engineer. For me, actually, it was kind of in the part of data science, data analysis, because I was already reading statistics, and I remember in first year they introduced us to a programming language called R, which is mainly for data analysis, and I think MATLAB. Yeah, so through that, I got to know what a programming language is, what they are used for, and
Okay.
then I actually discovered Python on my own. So just one time, I just went to the internet, tried to find books or PDFs on R and then MATLAB, and then I stumbled across a PDF which is automates the boring stuff with Python. I didn't even know what that was, but I mean, I read that Python is another programming language, and I saw, I mean, all the things you could do with Python, and I even found out, I mean, it's actually powerful than the R that's we mostly
Yeah.
use in data analysis. And aside data analysis, there are a lot of things you can use Python for because it's a general purpose programming language. Yeah. So me, I think it was partly curiosity that led me to start even learning Python.
Okay.
And then in doing so, I realized, I mean, there's a lot you can do aside data analysis or data science.
Mhm.
So in the first year, I mean, I started learning programming in the second year. But when I started learning programming, the first 1 year of the journey,
Mhm.
I was mainly doing data analytics, doing exploratory data analysis with Python packages like NumPy and Pandas and all this stuff. I didn't really like had any other interest in any other
Yeah.
thing. Like that was the sole purpose of learning the programming language.
Programming language. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
I started I started working on some personal projects, which is some data analytics projects. But it was quite getting boring because in data science and data analytics, there are a lot of, I mean, mathematics and confusing stuff.
Yeah.
And if yes, sometimes, I mean, after even analyzing your data and stuff, I mean, you don't have anybody to, I mean, explain your findings to, because nobody gives a shit. Excuse my French. Nobody gives a damn. I mean, it's your field. It's what you prefer to do.
Yeah.
Nobody can, unless you are working for a company who needs I mean, to get insights from the data that you're working with. I mean, your peers don't care.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought like, yeah, for something like web development, you can actually design something and show it to people and then like appreciate what you've done. Because I mean, now people can see what you really do.
Mhm.
So I said, okay, why not, I mean, do web design, or why not just do web development? And I was really enjoying that when I started. So I had to ditch Python for a while, and then I started HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript. And then when I started, I just got hooked. So I decided, Charlie, forget the data analysis thing.
Mhm.
Let me just first be a web developer, and then work my way up through being a software engineer. So like I just threw the data analysis things away, and then I mean started like learning to be a real software developer instead of, I
Developer.
mean, doing data science and stuff.
And now learning data science, and then now transitioning to being a front end. I mean, learning a front end skills to become a front end developer. Take me through that process. How difficult it was.
Yeah. Okay. So first, I think in anything, I mean, it's your determination, right?
Yeah.
It's how you're determined to learn that thing or determined to like achieve what you really want. So yeah, that's number one. And then transitioning from like data analysis. At first, I had the basics, right? I mean, learning a different programming language after learning the first one is just you're just going to learn the syntax, right? Because no matter the programming language you're learning, the concepts are the same, right? So it doesn't matter whether you're learning JavaScript or you're moving from JavaScript to C++. The things that you learn in JavaScript, the same thing you're going to learn in C++. It's just that you're just going to learn the syntax or the C++ way of doing things. But the whole idea, the whole concept are always the same. So for me, I think transitioning wasn't really that difficult. Although, I mean, CSS gave me a lot of troubles. CSS gave me some troubles.
Because
And
I know you learned Python first, right, before moving to HTML and CSS. And the concept in Python is way different from HTML and
yes,
CSS. They are two different things. They are not like learning Python and then going to learn JavaScript. This is like Python and then HTML, CSS.
yeah. So yeah, I think in web development, I mean, every field has its principles, its rules and regulations that as a developer you must follow, right? Yeah. And I mean, starting with HTML, CSS, you first need to know what these, I mean, they are not programming languages, right? They are just like CSS is more like style declaration for your design, right? And then HTML is just, I mean, helps you build a structure of the web page. So it's like I think you first need to understand what these two companies stand for, what they do, right? So I think I didn't really have any challenges with HTML. I mean, it's just they've just been declared for you. All you need to do is just write them, right? So I think HTML is like building levels. You already have the blocks over there, so just arrange it. And then the CSS is like, right, you have your page. You have this button. If you want to style it, this is how you need to style it. To apply this color, this is how you need to pour. This is how you need to write in the CSS. I mean, put it in this particular position. This is the rule that you have to set in your CSS in order to achieve that particular design that you want. So I think the only thing you need to know is like understand what these two components, right? Once you know them, then it's easy to move forward. It's easy to move forward.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, cool. You know, there are times in your life where, okay, there was a time in my life where I started learning how to code, and I would get blocked, and I would share my issues with people, and they are not able to even help me out, and I'll feel like this thing is not for me, it's too difficult. And on top of it, I'm trying to finish learning this thing and then start making money. And then this thing is just worrying me. I'm not able to build my solution. I'm not able to learn this particular thing. And I don't have a job in this field, in programming and all that. And you feel like giving up. Have you ever had this situation in your life? And how did you deal with it when you had it? Yeah.
Okay. I mean, being a developer, I mean, you can't say that you have never faced any challenge in your career. You will definitely face a lot of challenges being a developer. As you said, I mean, you could find yourself working on something and then you get stuck at a point where you have no idea what you're actually doing, or like you have no idea what to do to fix that issue you're having, right? And sometimes you could even reach out. I mean, go to the internet, go to sites like Stack Overflow and then like post a question. And it could be like months without even getting anybody to answer the question, right? So, I think, as I said, it's just the determination. If you're willing, if you're really determined to learn the thing, for me, the only thing that has been driving me in order to like overcome any other obstacles or any challenges is my determination. And it's like when I make up my mind that I want to do this, I mean nothing can stop me. I mean I don't mean to brag or anything, but that is one thing that I have in me that yeah, if I want to do this, I first understand yes, there are going to be challenges, right? You just have to first tell yourself, yeah, there are going to be challenges. And if you encounter them, how are you going to approach them? How are
But
you
you
going to fix
know,
them?
sometimes you have determination, like you even write it down sometimes and all that. But at a point where that situation hits you, you like you're not thinking about those things you wrote down, your determinations and all that, your goals and all. Sometimes it's not everybody that has this strength, or I don't know if I should call it strength, but strength to pursue like this thing. Like I want to do this thing and I'll do it no matter what. Is there any guidelines you could share to solve such situation where you had your goals, your determinations and stuff, but then you are not able to pursue because of this obstacle that you are not able to learn, or like something is just blocking you to understand something and you are trying to give up? Are there any like stuff like you have in mind or in place you can share with me and my audience?
Okay, yeah. I have a lot. So first, in anything that you're doing, when you find yourself in a situation like that, just just sit down and then examine the current situation you're facing, right? So first, just weigh the cost of giving up, right? Weigh the cost of giving up, and then weigh the benefits of not giving up and pushing forward,
Okay.
right? Yes, that's what I do in every situation. So I just sit down and then tell myself, okay, so I know this thing I'm trying to achieve is very, very difficult, and I feel like giving up. I mean, I'm at a point where like I'm completely exhausted, and like there's nothing I feel like I can do to push forward. So I just sit down and then reassess the situation. So if I give up, uh, what am I going to lose when I give up? One, if I give up, I'm going to lose all the effort that I invested
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at the beginning, right? So it's going to be like a cosmetic job. You don't gain anything. And and as I said, in your career as a developer, there are going to be a lot of challenge, a lot of stress, right? Think about all what you've been through, right? And now you're deciding to give up because you feel like there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, yeah, it happens a lot. You could start learning something and then later you realize this thing is too difficult. Nah, maybe let me switch to something else because you think, yeah, okay, maybe if I switch to that thing, I mean, I'll be very, very good in that,
Yeah.
right? So no, don't just, I mean, be quick to give up. Just try and then examine yourself. Like this, I started from this particular point, right? Look at all the effort that you've invested to get to where you are now, right? And then look at the benefits. If you are able to persist, to go through, like where that persistence is going to take you.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, for me, like I just tell myself, like I've been in a lot of situations. I've faced a lot of challenges, but in every challenge, I was able to push through. So why is this one different, or is it even different than the other challenges that I've already faced? The fact that you haven't been able to find a solution yet doesn't mean a solution doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It exists. Yes, every problem has a solution. You just have to keep pushing, and then no matter how much you feel like you've wasted time, just keep pushing forward. As long as you've been able to fix some problems you've encountered before, you can definitely overcome this one. So just you don't just give up. I mean, for me, giving up is not an option. In whatever I do, yes, giving up is never an option. So as I said, it's my determination. And even though, yeah, what you said is true, sometimes you feel like, Charlie, nah, it's not worth it. Just give up. But Charlie, just consider the sacrifices you've made before,
Yeah.
and now you're deciding to give up. And think of what you're going to achieve when you try to push through and finally, get a breakthrough. So yeah, so let me use my life as an example. In starting my programming journey, right?
Yeah.
To be honest, being an economist or like being a statistician, how many opportunities are out there in Ghana for economists, for statisticians? It's limited, right? There's not a lot of jobs you can find in this country being an economist, or because truth be told, I know people that I was in the same class with, or I was in the same program with, and now they are still unemployed even after school. It's been almost like 2 years or more than 2 years now. They are still unemployed. But for me, pursuing the life as a software engineer and learning and then like becoming one. Now I've been able to like ever since I completed. I've worked for like 3 different companies along the way in the space of 3 years. So like just imagine if I had just concentrated on being a statistician or like an economist. If I had gone that route, I'm not saying that by all means I would have been unemployed by now, but it was more likely to happen that way.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
see, in learning programming or deciding to be a software engineer, I encountered a lot of issues. But I always knew that if I'm able to persist through, if I'm able to learn this and then like be a professional, there are a lot of opportunities out there for me. I wouldn't have to struggle to find a job. And it's true. It happened. It happened. So at that moment where I had an issue like that, where I felt like I've done everything I could and I couldn't find I couldn't find a solution to that problem. I examined my life, I examined my situation. I thought of the amount of effort I've invested in myself, the amount of time I've invested in trying to learn this thing, and thought of like, the benefits if I'm able to push through, right? The number of opportunities out there for me. I just weighed those two things, and then I was always able to decide to like push through no matter what. And that has been my number one solution when I'm facing any kind of situation where I feel like giving up or I feel like I've done everything I could. So I just I'm just not cut out to do this, or I just have to give up. I just like weigh my options. What do I lose when I give up? And what do I gain if I push through? That's always my solution to that situation.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's a long one. Um, yeah. So, let's switch to your role, your current role. How does it look
Yeah.
like? What's your role in your current company, and how are things going over there?
Okay, yeah, currently I mostly work as a backend engineer, although I'm a full stack, both
Okay.
front end and back end. Yeah. But
Okay.
most of my tasks ever since I joined this company has been like backend stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been building serverless solution with AWS. Yeah. And I mostly write Lambda functions and then like uh, building scalable functions for processing a huge amount of data within a particular minute or like a second. So yeah, mostly like backend stuff, data processing stuff.
What
Yeah.
what pro- what programming language do you use there?
Um, Mostly JavaScript, Node.js.
Okay.
Yeah, Node.js, and sometimes like Python, but it's not that often. With this company, yeah, mostly it's been JavaScript, Node.js.
I know you work as a remote developer or engineer.
Yeah.
How is a day like for you? On a typical day, let me take Wednesday, because I think Monday sounds so official, Friday sounds so casual. So let's take Wednesday. How does Wednesday look like for you? Let's say from morning to, since work starts to end. Yeah.
Okay. For a day like Wednesday, I mean, it depends on the number of tasks I have. Yeah, depends on the number of tasks I have to work on. Sometimes, you have a lot of tasks to work on. Sometimes you just have like a few, one or two tasks to work on. And I mean, don't get me wrong, but sometimes even one task like could be very, very complex and you could spend like a lot of time on that particular task. Yeah. So on a typical day like Wednesday, as usual, when I wake up in the morning, I mean, because I build several solutions like with AWS, Lambda. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do after taking my shower, uh, getting some breakfast, turning on my laptop, I just go to AWS console, check my AWS metrics for my Lambda functions, see if everything is running perfectly without any errors. And if there are issues, I just fix them before I even start the actual task I'm supposed to work on that particular day. Yeah. And for me, it's still like working in the office. I wake up as early as 6 a.m.
Yeah.
It's something that yeah, it's something that I am accustomed to. So my phone's alarm is set to 6 a.m. So at 6 a.m. It doesn't matter how it doesn't matter how late I go to bed, right?
Okay.
Even if I decide to turn my alarm off at 6 a.m. for some reason I just get up naturally.
I remember I had this same case when I was in secondary school. Like this, and it's not like a rounded number, but like I wake up, if I quite remember, 5:15. Is it that
Yeah.
5:50 or 5:14? I wake
Yes.
up at that time. I don't know how
Yeah.
that works, but
Because you've always been waking up early, so it's like it's part of your body. It's like your body has trained itself to adjust to that kind of situation.
hmm,
So I mean, the mind is like the mind itself. I mean, it's an intelligence tool, right? Just like we train AI bots. I mean,
yeah.
now we have artificial intelligence. I mean, dominating the world, right?
Mhm.
It's like you train the bot on a particular data, or like you train it to do a specific task, and it learns from that data, or it learns from that task, right? So it will get to a point that automatically it can give you the required outcome without you interfering with its process, right? That's how the mind is. I mean, we try to model AI models. I mean, to function like the human brain, right? So I mean that's how the brain is. Sometimes you find yourself doing something over and over at the same time, and it's like your body is programmed to trigger that same process at that particular time, right?
Yeah.
So just as you said, for me, as 6 a.m. it's like I have to wake up no matter what. I have to wake up. So when I wake up 6 a.m., I just take my shower. So by 8 a.m., I should start my day by 8 a.m. So I mean, if you can testify to that, for
Yeah.
me, 7 to 8. I mean, you
Like
see my
sometimes,
my
sometimes I see your Slack check-in at 6, or Apple James. I understand he's in a different country,
yeah.
but I see your check-in as at 6 or 7. I like, yo, is it that like you close from work early and then you are like back on track? Like,
No.
well, that's all good, and it's consistent,
Yeah,
like always
yeah,
there. Like,
yeah.
wow.
I remember after when I graduated from university, and then I had my first job. I was working with a company called Trinity Software Center, which is in Kumasi here.
Mhm.
And that one, it was an office job. It was an on-site, so I was always going to the office.
Oh.
And for the entire time I worked there like for 30 months. I spent 1 year, 1 month over there. And throughout the entire 30 months, I was always the first person to go to the office. And there wasn't a day where I was late to the office. So anytime I was late, my colleagues knew, nah, something is wrong. let's call Prince and check out because it, it's not normal for him to like be here even after 7 a.m. It's not normal. Let's call him and then check. It's like and with this thing, it's like I can't help it. I can't help it. It's become part of me. Whatever I have to do, like I have to do it as early as possible.
So is
Yeah.
that how you also feel when you are in a company and it's like you feel so ideal, you don't have a task, and like do you feel some way if there's nothing to be
Oh
done, you
yes.
are just
Yeah. If there's nothing to be done, uh, with the first company I was working for, which is Trinity, as I mentioned earlier, over that I was a front end developer, right? And I was always working on front end tasks. But I also know like more of back end engineering. So I was also a Node.js developer, right? And I wanted to like work on like like the full stack things. I wanted to like go full stack.
mhm,
And I realized nah in everything it's like they kept me at the front end side. But I wanted to grow. And you don't just learn a programming language and then sit down and say, yeah, I know Node.js or I know backend development. You need to be working on like real world problems. You need to be using that skills to solve real world problems.
yeah,
That helps you like gain experience, right?
yeah,
Helps you to grow. So I felt like no, like I'm being connected to one specific area, and I didn't want that.
mhm,
So uh, another company approached me on LinkedIn, and then like they wanted to have an interview with me to see if I would be able to like take up a role as a full stack engineer over there. Because I had some personal projects which I did, like full stack applications which I did, and they saw it and then like they knew yeah I could work as a full stack engineer. So the moment they approached me, I just submitted my resignation letter, my 1 month notice letter, and then I just left because I wanted a new challenge. Like I wanted to grow, like expand my field. Yeah.
mhm,
So when I'm in a company and then I feel like nah, I'm not like doing much. I don't feel like I'm doing much. Like
mhm.
I'm utilizing like my full potential. Then like I feel tempted to leave as soon as another opportunity comes in. I feel tempted to like take up that opportunity and then
Yeah.
go expand my skills.
And I'm very sure 90% of every developer is like that. I mean, based on the ones that based on the developers that I've spoken to before, they
Mm-hmm.
don't really care how big the salary is, but once they feel something odd about the company or the task or how things are organized in the company, they tend to leave once they find a better opportunity, even though if even the opportunity has lesser salary than what they would like go in for it. I have one guy who did something like that, and the salary was like literally almost half of what the person was earning, but he left to take that half because he feel okay over there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just something I want to share. Yeah, so is there anything else about your day?
Yeah. So when I'm the moment I get started with my task, I make sure I finish all what I am supposed to do before I even go for break. Because I'm like I'm like a machine. A machine like if I'm not done, I find it difficult to even like get away from the computer to even take a break. Yeah. And sometimes like I just needed a distraction in order to even get up and then go do something else. Yeah. But mostly, I mean, I've done a lot of uh, backend stuff. I've worked on a lot of I've worked on a lot of projects with Node.js. So sometimes, and our boss, which is with Ken. Mostly the task that he assigns to you, he already has a solution. So all you have to do is just implement that solution, right? Like you've already given. I mean, that man is too smart. Like he's so intelligent. Sometimes the solution that he gives you, you don't have to think and then come up with it with like how you're going to. I mean, how you're going to come up with the algorithm. It's like he has already given you everything. All you have to do is just code the thing and then make sure it works,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, mostly the tasks, they are mostly like straightforward. They are mostly straightforward, unless you discover like
A
no,
different
this
solution or
solution,
something.
yeah, we might have an issue with this solution. So you try to, find your way around that.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless in such situations, I would say most of the tasks that I'm supposed to work on or I find myself working on are like pretty straightforward because I have a boss who's so intelligent, who's so smart that before he even gives the task, he already knows the solution, right? So it's like he's
Sometimes,
already giving
sometimes,
you the that nice to follow.
have you ever joined a tech community, or do you belong to any? And if yes, how has this community helped you? And if no, then what do you just think about tech community?
Okay. So for tech communities, yeah, tech communities are very great. Because personally, I don't have a tech community that I actually join. At least not the one where we meet in person, right? Yes. So I actually joined a tech community, which is a Python tech community on I think Telegram, yeah. And I also, I also joined. For this, I think every software developer joins this community, which is Stack Overflow. Yeah. So those are I think those are the two. I don't really pay much attention to tech communities, but I know they are great though. They are great. Because if you want to network or maybe like find help to some coding problems that you have, and tech communities are a great way to go, right? Because no matter the kind of technical challenge that you're facing, there's someone who has faced that same issue before and then has been able to resolve it. So once you're part of that kind of community, if you have an issue and then you just post it in your group or like whatever means of communication the community uses, I'm sure you would get someone to assist you or help you fix that particular problem. So yeah, to me, I think tech communities are very, very great. And as a developer, you should be part of a tech community because it helps you a lot in your career. When it comes to networking or I get assistance from other developers. Yeah.
Okay, okay, cool. Okay, cool. That's great. I have two more questions and we are done. Two more
Okay.
questions and we are done. The next question is, what are your future plans? Okay, are you going to be a developer for the rest of your life, or you would want to switch to do something else, or you just want to retire and be building your own applications, or what are your plans? Or you'd want to even switch from being a tech worker to something else?
Okay. Well, sadly speaking, I think my fate, being a developer is my fate. I think no matter what, even if I grow old, I'm still going to be a developer.
Okay.
And yeah, my future plans, I think, I mean, I always have this dream of like starting my own software company. And if not really about software. So recently I've decided to go back to some of the things that I learned as a data analyst or like in data science. Yeah,
Okay.
because I want to get into machine learning and AI. Yes,
Okay.
I already have the basics like supervised machine learning and then unsupervised, but I didn't really go in depth because
Okay.
some of the things that I had to study, they were a bit complicated. And for someone who is just started statistics, you can just imagine the pain it was in trying to, get all the concepts in this particular field. So I feel like I've been I've had a little bit of maturity. I can go back and then revisit some of the things that I did. And so I have a very great passion in AI and machine learning. So I think, in the near future, like three, 2, 3 years from now, I would definitely be switching from, just software engineering to like AI development or AI engineering. Yeah, that is my plan. Yes, within the next couple of years.
I
So I mean, down the road, I'm probably going to start my own software company. Yes, that is a dream that I want to fulfill. Yes, and my company's work, I think it's going to mainly in AI and machine learning. Yes, but it's actually going to be an all-round software development company. Yeah.
okay. Okay. So you want to switch? Are you switching to AI because of the whole AI buzz that has been around for the past
Uh,
1 year, or?
you can't dismiss this buzz. I mean, it's making waves,
Yeah.
and it's the future, right? There are a lot of new technologies. I mean, emerging right now, AI, blockchain.
Mhm.
What else? I mean, there are few, but recently you see the kind of hype AI has been, and not just the hype. I mean, you see the applications of these. I
Yeah.
mean, solutions, these artificial intelligence solutions. They are mind blowing, and it's like I think, I mean, switching to that field, I mean, would just provide you with endless opportunities. Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm all about the money, so whatever I need to do to cash out, I mean, something basically, I would do on fast, fast. Yeah.
Okay, okay, sounds good. So, the last question is more of what you would tell someone who wants to get into tech. So it's two-sided question. What would you do better if you should start this whole journey of becoming a software engineer? And how would you advise someone who wants to get into tech?
Yes. So my first advice would be to be serious, right? If you want to learn, just give it your all. You just need to just spend the time, invest your time and effort in this. I mean, being a software developer, uh, it's a career that if you start pursuing, it's going to pay you a lot, right? It will definitely pay off. It's one of the careers in which you don't regret getting into, right? It's one of the fields in which you will never regret getting into software engineering or software development. So my first advice to anyone who wants to learn is be serious.
Okay.
Take whatever you have to learn serious because it will pay off. Yes, it will really, really pay off. And number two, don't waste time on unnecessary things, right? Yes. You first, I mean, you try to research on, I mean, what you learn or which particular, software engineering is a broad field, right? With subdomains, right? We have mobile development, we have web development, we have desktop development. I mean, even scripting, right? People who do automation, scripting and automation. So first, figure out what you want to do, right? Some people, I mean, myself, I've been a victim. We start with web development, like we want to do everything from. We want to be the jack of all trades. No, no. So it begins with what you want to do. Is it mobile development? Yes, it's mobile development. So what do I need to learn? Just go straight to the point, right? Ignore all, I mean, unnecessary things. Don't diverge into anything. If you want to learn the software engineering, I mean, if you want to be a web developer, just go to the internet, search uh, roadmap for web developer,
Mhm.
and there are a ton of, I mean, information you get from the internet regarding, I mean, how to be a web developer, right? Yes. So I think one thing you need to understand is software engineering is a broad field, right? So get to know the subfields in software engineering. First, I mean, if you want to be a mobile developer, want to be a web developer, like you want to be everything, so fine, fine. But please start one at a time. Don't try to like take it all in. Don't try to take everything in at the same time. It will be very, very stressful. And as we discussed about, it's one of the things where if you find yourself doing, you get to a point where it will be so difficult for you that you feel too you feel too overwhelmed, and you might even decide to give up. You'd feel like, yeah, there's nothing I can do anymore, so I just have to give up,
Yeah.
right? Yes. So first, have it at the back of your mind that software engineering or software development is a broad field, right? We have we have a lot of things in it. So figure out which subfield you want to pursue first. Is it mobile development? I mean, I know people who just do mobile development. That's all. Whether the web or uh, desktop uh, application development or any other thing, they don't care. All they want to do is mobile development, and
Mobile
they start to
development.
it. Yes,
Yeah.
and they become very, very good in it. That they are even senior mobile developers, senior mobile app developers, and they are also called software engineers, right? It doesn't matter which subfield you or which career in software engineering you decide to pursue. Whether you do web only, or even for web, whether you do front end only or back end only, you are still a software engineer.
Yeah.
But front end or back end is your field, right? So first, figure out which field in software engineering, or what is it, what career in software engineering that you want to pursue, and then go to the internet, go to Google, search for roadmap for being a mobile developer or being a front-end developer. You get tons of information over there. Try to pick one and then stick to it, because what you'll be giving, I mean, is from people who started the journey and then got to know the things they were supposed to learn and the things they weren't supposed to learn, right? And now they've been able to, put together a concise or like a specific roadmap,
Okay.
right? Which, if even if themselves, if they had to start the whole journey afresh, that is the kind of roadmap they are going to use. Yes. So just figure out what you want to do. Number one, just be serious. If you really want to be a software engineer, just like give it your all. Invest all your time. I'm not saying that like be like a robot or like don't even have time to socialize or do other stuff. No, you can do. But when it's time to study or when it's time to practice, just don't joke around. Just just put all your effort in it, right? And then figure out what exactly in software engineering that you want to do, or what career you want to pursue in software engineering. Is it front end? Is it back end? Is it full stack web? Is it mobile development only? Or is it like automation or scripting, or even like is it AI or machine learning? And then find yourself a roadmap. Go to the internet, search, you get a roadmap from experienced developers, right? Yes, and then stick to that roadmap, and don't take any divergence. Just stick to it. And those are the only two things I can tell you. Just invest your effort in it, and then get a roadmap to follow. That's all. You'll be good.
Great, 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 great. That's it. That's it. Thanks so much. That's a lot of lessons new people, new beginners could take, to start their journey. And I feel like there's a lot that could be done for people who are now getting into tech. Like I've been hearing you say, know what you want in the field and go online. But you see, online is full of a whole lot of stuff. Like, and you can even be overwhelmed with what to start. Okay, I know that I want to do back-end engineering. When I go online, and there are lots of different versions of things going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Do you think it's wise for uh, someone who wants to get started in tech have a personal person, not even a physical person, maybe find someone online, random person who he thinks the
Like a
person,
mentor.
yeah, and then the person don't really need to coach you, like put you down and teach you, but guide you. Learn this, then after that, learn this and all that. Like, I think that would be the best direction. What do you think?
Yes. So that's where the tech communities come in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yes. So I think it doesn't matter whether you are an experienced developer or a beginner, someone starting afresh. Yes. I think it's one of the things I was supposed to mention in my advices, right? I think it should have been number 2 or number 3, right? That find a community, right? Yes, you can go on LinkedIn and even Google, just search for tech communities for software engineers.
yeah.
Yeah, Facebook, like every social media platform except TikTok. Don't don't, don't, don't go to TikTok and then joke around. And you're not going to learn anything else over there. Yeah.
Oh no, but we have now. Okay, well,
Oh
in
yeah.
the past
Yeah.
few months, I've been seeing some tech guys who do live, advising and even showing their screen on coding and stuff. I like, yo, this is good. At least I see some people making use of TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, yeah. Once you're serious, like you know what you're looking for. Because for me, the reason why I didn't include, or the reason why I try to, I mean, put away TikTok is there are a lot of distractions, and not just TikTok. I mean, even Facebook, there are a lot of distractions. You see, you try to, I mean, go through the specific content that you want, and then you see reels of some funny videos, some funny people trying to do something, and like you'll be distracted, right? So for me, I mean, the best platforms to be on as a developer is number 1, LinkedIn, number 2, Twitter,
Mhm.
or should I say Twitter, or now X?
X. X.
Yes, yes. I mean, those are my 2 top platforms that I use
Okay.
for like finding tech communities or like finding some tech related contents. Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm sure there are a lot of other sites there. We have like Medium. I mean, they are more of like posting articles and stuff.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah,
or you can even go to Stack Overflow and then just post a random question or like a message, like I'm a beginner, I want to learn software engineering. I mean, or I want to like pursue a career in like web development. I want to be a front-end developer or back-end developer. What should I do? Where should I start from? I have no, I mean, prior developer experience or coding experience. So what should I do? I mean, you get like a lot of answers from people, right? I mean, yeah, telling you. I mean, and like no matter what, I mean, they all tell you. I mean, somebody might tell you like learn Java or learn Python or learn Node.js if you are going like the backend route.
yeah.
Like the bottom line is whichever language you learn, there's a job opportunity out there.
Opportunity.
Once you get good, there are a lot of Java backend engineers over there, a lot of Python backend engineers, a lot of Node.js or JavaScript backend engineers. So yes, for fields like that, or even let's take mobile development for example. There are a lot of React Native developers. There are a lot of Swift developers. There are a lot of Android or Kotlin, or let's say what do most Android developers use? Is it Java or okay? So Kotlin is in Java,
Android
right?
use Kotlin, some use um, Android. I'm so confused about the Java, Android, and Kotlin. And then
Okay,
there's this
I think the main one is Kotlin, which is
Kotlin.
like a framework in Java, yeah.
Yeah,
And then they even have Flutter, so I think yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, what I want, the point I want to make is, no matter what, I mean, which language they tell you to learn,
Mhm.
right? And for me, I would say I would say take the web development side first. That is the advice I would give to anyone who is trying to pursue a career in software engineering.
They should
Just try
start
and
with
then
web.
go web. Yes, take the web. Because you see, web development, there are a lot of things. I mean, especially the JavaScript side, the
Mhm.
interactive side, right? there are a lot of things you're going to learn, you're going to master over there. And that's the amount of knowledge you gain as a web developer, even as a front-end developer. It's transferable in all the other fields, in mobile development, in even back-end, right? Yes. So you just take my word for it. Start at the website, front-end, or like just front-end, go front-end. Be safe. And I think the easiest programming language you can start with is JavaScript. Or like say just Python. It's okay. Right. Yeah.
Great. This brings us to the end of the interview, and I'm so glad you shared all this with us. And I hope all the listeners would actually listen to what you said throughout this interview, and at least if they will take just one thing from all the stuff you said, that would be okay by me. But thank you so much, and I'm hoping to do this again, but the next time it will be an in-person stuff. What do you think?
Sure. Yeah. That would be great. I'm actually looking forward to that.
Okay, cool. Cool. Thanks so much, and then we'll meet another time.
Yeah, and I think I will share my contact details with you. My social media, some of my social media handles. Yeah, so that if there's anyone out there who is interested in pursuing a career in software engineering, or like start coding or be a programmer, they can reach out. As we said, when you go online, there are tons of information, right? Like if you can have someone you can like contact in person who can actually guide you through, right? That would be much easier than going to the internet to read a bunch of stuff, a bunch of information. So I will send you my social media handle so that in case anybody wants to reach out to me for like a mentorship or even like any other collaboration or something else, we can get in touch and then help each other out.
Definitely, do share those details with me, and I would add them to the description side of the video, and I'll probably put it as a pop-up on the video itself as well. So